Welcome to the Mothership Creator Strategy. Happy Friday from a hotel room in Dallas. Boy, oh boy, today getting set up for some reason has been challenging to find a spot in this room. Although I do like this cool modern red sofa. It's giving me good, happy vibes. It was hard to find a spot and get the camera set up right. So here I am finally. And I'm going to kick off with some unsponsored by content as always. And the first one is something I've been wearing all week. And I'm going to bring it right up. It's called my Uggs clogs, whatever you want to call these. And I have had Uggs. I got to tell you a funny story about Uggs because my husband always manages to find trending things. Now, he himself, I don't know if I would say he's like the trendiest dresser. Probably not, actually. But because he reads a lot. He reads a lot of newspaper, magazine articles and that kind of thing. And so years ago, before Uggs were ever a thing, I mean, I'm going to say the 80s. I'm going back. Was it the 80s? Yes. He bought me a pair of Uggs. I don't even know if Uggs were anything more. He said, oh, this is an Australian brand, years before they ever became popular. And I still have that same pair of Uggs from that purchase. Okay. He said, yeah, you're supposed to wear these boots with no socks, blah, 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 blah. Like it was a thing. And I thought, he's crazy, but they're cool and they were comfy. And I have always been an Uggs owner, but I never embraced like a new pair of Uggs. I just always wore those. And then when the styles changed to the, kind of the styles evolved, I finally decided to evolve beyond just the Uggs boots. And I got myself these, thinking that I was going to use them as slippers, and kind of fell in love with them and wanted to wear them outside. So then I had to go buy a second pair to use as slippers. So I got the lower ones for slippers. And now these, thank goodness I brought them on this trip. So for two reasons. One, it is freezing in Dallas. I don't know. I thought that Dallas was going to be warm. I really had different expectations, even though I looked at the weather and I thought, oh, temperatures are lower than I would imagine. But I thought, maybe they're going to be a seasonably warm version of the 50s. No, it was snowing this morning, okay, when I got out of my Uber. Anyway, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is so I was glad I had my Uggs because I have my warm little shoes. But I also did not know until I got here that we were only allowed to wear athletic type shoes for this shoot because we were shooting in a gym, in a nice college type gym. Well, good thing I brought my darn Uggs because I don't really always travel with running sneakers. I have a little pair of sneakers that I use if I want to run down to the gym and work out. So they're thinner that I can actually use and not have to take up a lot of space in my carry-on. So I had those crappy sneakers that I didn't want to wear all day on the shoot. And I had, thankfully, my Uggs. So I've been cozy on this gym floor all week in my Uggs. Yay. It's also been cold. And now I'm freezing in this hotel room too, wearing a sweater. So, the weather is not what I expected. So that was my first unsponsored by shout out. And the second one is a snack, because I always seem to find a snack in the airport. If you've been following my Instagram story, and now TikTok, I posted it as well, that I was on a flight where they announced before the flight that the toilets they said there's no running water on this flight. And so the toilets will only be able to flush, but not refill with water. So they say this over the announcement speaker, literally verbatim. I never heard these words spoken over a loudspeaker in my life. I'm going to say it. You can go number 1 on the plane, but please, no number 2. Say what? Now, granted, I'm not someone who's ready to run into an airplane bathroom and do number 2 in the first place, but let's say you have an emergency. You know what I mean? Oh my God. I could not believe my ears. I said, why was I not recording in this moment? Because it came over the airport loudspeaker. You can't make it up. Anyway, we boarded the plane and people didn't get up and go to the bathroom. I remember thinking it was eerie that nobody was getting up. And then the people that were serving probably the flight attendants, they probably were thrilled because there was nobody up and down in the aisles in their way. So the whole thing was pretty funny. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. But I did find a new airport snack. I love mush already and mush I found out only has like 4 ingredients. It's one of the cleanest foods you could buy. I couldn't believe that when I noticed the back of it. But this is Pop Daddy pretzels, cinnamon sugar pretzel sticks. I love anything cinnamon, hand seasoned in small batches, made with flavor so bold, it's lip smacking, finger licking goodness. And by the way, yes, agree with all the statements. And ingredients pretty clean also. There's more than 4, but not a lot of processed stuff. So I was really pleased with this, and I've been having a little handful of these every evening, and they are just very satisfying. So if you're looking for a little crunchy snack that's sweet and satisfying without being a cookie, you got to try these, Pop Daddy. I'm liking them. I'm going to have to find them not in an airport now. All right, those are my 2 things. So for today's topic, we're going to cover how to transition from a content consumer to a content creator. And I love this because, first off, I don't know how many of you, most of you, I would imagine, if you're listening to this podcast or get the newsletter and know about this podcast, you're probably already creating content, I would guess, because that's maybe why you follow the newsletter. So if you know someone who's pondering this, maybe share this with them. But let's say you just started posting, you're kind of new to content creation. A lot of these things are going to apply to you. And I think even as a seasoned creator, it might give you pause to say, I should think about that. And I've been posting for a long time now. And I think also some things that are insightful if you really start to think about them. So if you are new, we're going to start with if you are new and you are not sure about what you want to do. You should start by watching your For You page. Watch it differently. Watch it with intention. And when I say intention, watch and think about what am I stopping on and what is interesting to me? What am I stopping the scroll? What's stopping my scroll? Like, what is that content? So first you got to analyze what you like and why you like it. This is not to say you're going to do that type of content, but the idea is to get a feel for, are you stopping on people's photo carousels? Are you stopping on a post where it's the top of someone's head and a bunch of text on screen? Are you stopping on a post where it's quick cuts and it's entertaining? Are you stopping on music related content? Are you stopping on trend? I think I'm saying all the things, but look at what you're enjoying as a consumer, as a viewer, so that you can start to see maybe when you begin to create what you might want to lean into. Like, what's the thing that you're going to do in your content that's going to make other people stop and watch your videos? Okay? Think about that. The second thing that's pretty important is to figure out why you want to post in the first place. What's making you suddenly, if you've been a consumer, if you've been a viewer, what makes you suddenly think, oh, I want to post now. I want to get involved. I want to jump in the waters. Like, what is that? Do you feel I have something I have to say? I have something I have to share. I'm going to use an example of someone that I had a private one-on-one with who is really wants to jump in the game, but is really intimidated about doing it. And I said, like, what kind of things do you want? Do you feel you can impart? Like, what do you think you can share that you feel is either missing from what's out there, or you want your voice in the game? So you don't have to think of a topic no one's talking about. You don't have to think, oh my God, there's hundreds of baking creators. So what am I going to contribute? Guess what? There was hundreds of baking creators when I started doing baking, and I still had a following doing baking because people liked the way I was doing my videos. So you really have to know that it's the way you present that's going to change your content for someone. It has nothing to do with if there's so many people doing that already. So get that out of your head. Like, no. But you want to just think about why you want to post, because that's going to help you figure out what videos to make. That's going to give you an easier time with making your videos, because you're going to feel like you want to talk about this topic, or you're going to be excited to share about the topic, or you're going to want to figure out let's say you decide, I want to be a fashion creator. I want to open up my closet and start showing some of the clothes I have. Then you're going to want to learn transitions. So start watching transition videos, see what ones appeal to you. So those kind of things, like, you have to really get your head paying attention to what types of videos do you watch that catch your attention in that lane, but then also in other lanes that you could apply to your lane. Okay. Now, value can be educational or entertaining. So you don't have to say, oh, well, I have to teach something in order to grow a following on social media. No, you don't have to teach something. You just have to add value in a certain way that makes someone else want to stop on your videos and watch your videos. So you could be somebody that maybe wants to do a little skit comedy. You maybe want to portray different parts in order to, if you're in healthcare, privacy is always an issue. So I always say this to people in healthcare. If you want to do videos and talk about the experiences you have, but not break any HIPAA laws or have any privacy issues. Play characters, and your character that you're your doctor character or your medical professional HCP character, and then you are a patient, and then play that role. And it's not giving away anybody's information at all. You're not giving names, and you can talk about a scenario that happens, and you can change, the names will be changed to protect the innocent. No, remember that statement? But yeah, so you can do things you can think of creative ways if you're in an industry where you need to protect privacy. Okay. You just have to be a little creative, and you have to also limit the detail on how much you're giving information on a topic, because then, you don't want someone to feel targeted. There are women who go out on dates and then they immediately talk about the date, and then people find out who the guy is. I mean, that's a lot, you don't want to definitely go down that path. It's more like making it situational, like skit-like. That would be a style, but not necessarily giving away people's personal information. Anyway, I digress, but my point is to think about what way you can portray whatever it is you want to share. Okay, if you want to share about books, if you want to share about your things that happen in corporate life, think about Corporate Natalie, what she did. She started doing little skits about corporate life, and that made her famous. It put her on the map during the pandemic. It was pretty funny. Her content still resonates for the most part. I think that her content, I haven't watched her in a while, by the way, and I don't know how much her content has changed, because she's still her character, Corporate Natalie, but I highly doubt she still works in a corporate job. I mean, maybe she does. I don't know. Does anybody know? If you know anything about that, let me know. Anyway, next thing that's important is to understand that everybody starts with this many followers. That is a zero, people. Zero. We all started with 0 followers. And we all, me too, did not get to 1.2 million followers in a month. I didn't get to 10,000 followers in a month. I didn't get to 1,000 followers in a month, okay? That is not how you have to think. You can't think, oh my God, I've been posting for a whole month and I only have 800 followers. A month is a very short time in the life of cycle of social media. I could really complain and say, I've been on this app for 5 years. How come I don't have 5 million followers? Okay, guess what? That's not how it works. It is just not how it works, okay? It takes time. It takes dedication. It takes relentlessness. It takes resilience. It takes that you have to be in it for the long game. You have to know this isn't going to happen overnight. And how committed are you to it? And I will tell you, that relentlessness wins over all the other things, over creativity, over everything. It really does. The people who have the stick-to-itiveness and put those blinders on and carry on, they really are the ones that more likely have success, because they don't give up after 5 minutes. They don't give up after a few weeks, after a few months. They just they find purpose, and then they keep going. And yes, you need to have some give back, some success feeling to want to keep going, but you also don't have to define that success with a very big number. It can be a handful of people who really enjoy your content, who have learned something, or who have been entertained by you, or have connected with you. Okay, so you can really let yourself off the hook for thousands of followers overnight. And a lot of people will write to me and they're like, can you help me? I want to make money online. Oh my God, don't look to me. It took me 5 years to figure out how to make any money online. Don't look at me. Hold on. Sip. I have a cup of tea here and I don't want it to get cold because I don't have a microwave in the hotel room. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so it doesn't, and I'm not saying that I don't know how to grow on social media. Obviously I do. Obviously I could have monetized years ago. That wasn't my priority. I was working my day job. Production came back after the pandemic. I was busy. I didn't want to have a second job, honestly. And now I see the value in creating something for myself that is beyond my production day job, which is long, grueling days. And sometimes it's flying me here and flying me there, and I don't have so much control over my life. So, the time was right for me to start thinking about how to monetize and how to make this a new career. And I'm loving it, but I'm also not in an emergency mode to do it. I am pacing myself. So that's the other thing. If you're trying to monetize, doing it as a side hustle is way smarter than thinking, I'm going to quit my job and become a content creator, because yikes, I'm going to tell you, that's probably not a smart move. Okay. I mean, it's just not, that's not how it works. And views and creator fund and all of that is not going to pay the bills. Like and a lot of people will be like, help, watch this video and help me pay my bills. I mean, there's a handful of people that maybe that's working for, but your likelihood of that is, I don't want to disappoint, but it's not high. So you need to find a purpose that is not just, I want to make money. Because if you don't have a soul behind what you're sharing, you're not going to be able to make money. You're just not. I don't see it. I'm just being honest. I have notes. That's why I keep looking over here as well. Okay. So understanding that that's a slow process, and that aside from that, it's a slow process, that you have to make mistakes in order to grow. So you've got to make videos that don't get views. You're going to do stuff that you are going to make mistakes because you weren't a content creator before. You're going to learn things along the way. And then you'll hear somebody say, don't delete videos because it's not good for the algorithm. And then you'll go, oh my God, I deleted a video. Well, deleting one video is not going to mess with your algorithm. It's just a matter of taking it, pacing yourself, and not getting overwhelmed, and not believing I go back to the bad advice one from last week. Don't believe every person that you start to follow and think you're going to follow all the people that are the gurus on social media, and then you're suddenly going to grow overnight. Please be careful with who you listen to, what you take as verbatim as truth. When people say use this sound and go viral, I mean, go listen to last week's episode. Okay, that's what I have to say about that, because that could really mess with your head and then send you up and down the stairs. I even have somebody in the studio that says, I listen to this person, they say use that and I'm going to go viral, and do that and I'm going to go viral. And I'm like, okay. And you see where that got you. It's got your head scrambled, but you're not making any progress. You're better off learning one new skill every week to make one new kind of video, and then compound on better video making, and then see if you grow. So anyway, that's a good strategy, actually, by the way. And then, so don't create, and this is the other part that I think is interesting. People create what they think other people want to see, not what they actually want to create. And I haven't really had that problem, because in the beginning I wanted to make baking videos, and then people would say in the comments, oh, how did you do that? And then I'd want to make a teaching video. So mine has always been based on me wanting to help people, and in different ways. So it was help people in the kitchen, and then it was help people learn on the iPhone, because I was doing some little iPhone tutorials, and then help people learn how to edit. And then I find it safe, I guess, a safe way for me to make content confidently, because it's something I'm comfortable doing. So think about what you're comfortable doing. Maybe start with that, and then work your way from there. The thing you're doing in the very beginning of creating content is not necessarily the thing that you're going to be doing at the end of your journey. So if you would have asked me this in 2020, I would have thought that, oh, my goal is maybe to have a baking show. That does not even remotely appeal to me. Even if it was offered to me tomorrow, I would be like, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not that passionate about baking. I like it, but not that much. And I literally thought, oh yes, I'm going to have like my own mothership baking channel, la, la, la. It's funny how life changes, and how you make progress, and how your path changes. And so I just say to you, like, I thought that back then, for real. I thought that in the beginning. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have, maybe it'll be baking, and then it'll be household tips, and maybe it'll be interviewing people in restaurants. Like, I had all these things in my head, and look where I am now. It has nothing to do with any of those things. So it's just really a matter of pacing yourself, and not trying to be like the other people you're watching. Like, not saying, I just want to be like that person. Sometimes when I have one-on-ones, people will say to me, I really want to, learn how to be a creator like this person, like that person. I'm like, get your head out of the game with other people. Like, you don't want to be this person and that person. You want to be your own version of your best content creator self. And whatever that is, you have to find it. And it takes time to find it, but that's the fun of it. It's the fun part. It's like how my husband used to say, it's like not the destination, it's the journey. He always says that. And it's true in content creation. It's not like what you're going to decide to do. It's how you're going to get there. It's the evolution of making your content to get you to the place where you want to go. And I say this for any content creator now that even has a lane. You don't know. Your lane might change. Mine changed very rapidly one time in June 2022 when I was like, maybe I have to start making some different content. I'll make a documentary of some sort. And then next thing you know, I was making my own documentary about going through cancer and chemo treatments. I didn't know my content was going to take that detour. And it was kind of a cool detour if I look back on it now. I brought people into a journey. I took people with me. We all learned together. We learned something different. We learned about, I never knew anything about chemo. I learned a lot. I never knew anything about radiation. So I think you don't know where the journey is going to take you, and you have to really let it happen because it's so fun, and it's good for your audience. And that's what builds loyalty, when people really feel that you're being truthful in your content and you're not that character online. And then I know a lot of people like to be a character online, and if that's your thing, go for it, because you can be an online character if you want. But then you've got to realize people are going to buy into you as that. Like that becomes their truth of who you are. And if that's what you want, that's fine. I don't really want that. I want people to know that my online self is my real self. It's a seamless machine for me. But that's not how everybody is. I remember meeting a creator once, talking to her. I don't even want to call out who she is. It doesn't really matter. But she was like, "Oh, well, when you talk to me, just so you know, that's not my real voice." I was like, "What?" I did not know that everything she was doing on the internet was an accent and a character that she was playing. So, that's also, that person wasn't more of an actress. So that made more sense that she would be playing a character. So you do you is the point, but figure out what you is by experimenting, and maybe pass this on to someone who is trying to figure that out. Also, you could share with them to try the studio out for a month, because that's what we help you do. Anyway, this has been fun. I can't wait to share what I've been doing all week, because it's so hard for me when I have to work in production and it has to be a confidential thing, and then I can't talk about it, because that's part of what I like to do online, is share my real life. And so when I have to be locked down, I don't like it. It's really a struggle. Sigh. So yeah, soon I'll be able to share. But in a way, it's good that I've decided to do this Vlogmas challenge, because it's giving me focus on, okay, well, I can't talk about what I'm doing today on the shoot. So instead, I will create a Vlogmas day 3, 4, 5, whatever day I'm in video. So that's how I'm kind of adapting. So figure out a way to get yourself in the game, to be consistent, what kind of content you want to create. Maybe join a challenge, because it'll keep you going. We have this challenge going now in December. We're going to have a January challenge for sure, because January is the best time to kick off, your new self or your fresh self. And we're going to be doing that too. Okay. Any questions? Drop it in the comments or reply to the newsletter, because now you can actually comment on the newsletter. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening as always. And I'll see you next week. Mwah! Back in New York City.